Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, suppose a man is sweeping a courtyard with his broom, and another man comes and says to him, "Hello, so and so is no more, he is dead." Now, if the dead person was not related to the sweeper, the latter goes on with his work, remarking casually, "Ah, that's too bad. He is dead. He was a good fellow." The sweeping goes on all the same. But if the dead man was his relative, then the broom drops from his hand. "Oh," he exclaims, and he too drops to the ground. Now, what makes the difference here? The sweeper has attachment to the dead man as he is his relative. We hear of so many deaths in daily life, but the death of a dear one gnaws our heart. The greatest agony in human life is caused by bereavement of loved ones. Now, how to overcome it? Srimad Bhagavatam gives us an insight from the life of King Chitraketu. King Chitraketu was a famous emperor who was issueless for a long time. At last, when he did have an issue, with the blessings of a sage, the infant was poisoned within a few months of its birth by his rivals. The emperor was lamenting piteously in front of the dead body of his son. Then sages Angiras and Narada come to comfort him. "Koyam syat tava Rajendra, bhavan yam anushochati, tvam cha asya katama srishtau pura idanim atapparam." O great king, he for whom you are mourning, what is he to you? In this flux of creation, how were you related to the dead child in the previous birth, and what is to be the relation in future births? Here the idea is that these relations are never the same in different births. There may be no relation, or there may be reverse relation also, as father being reborn as a child. That is, our companions are different in each birth. Again the sages say, "Yatha prayanti samyanti sroto vegena balukaha samyujyante viyujyante tatha kalena dehinaha." As the grains of sand come together and separate in a current of water, so are living beings united and separated by the flow of time. All worldly relationships are causes of sorrow. Gandharva Nagara Prakhya Swapnamaya Manorathaha. They are fleeting like castle in the air. They are like experiences caused in the dream. Meditate on the Atman with a peaceful mind and get rid of the idea that world of duality is permanent. Then the sage brought the dead child into the visibility of the sorrowing relatives and said to it, "Jivatman pashya bhadram te mataram pitaram chate suhrudo bandhava tapta shucha tvat krutaya bhrusham." O Jiva, don't you see your father, mother and other relatives sorrowing for you? Kalevaram samavishya seshamayu suhrudvat bhungshva bhogan pitrupratan adhitishta drupasanam. Assume your previous body and spend the rest of your life in enjoyments provided by your father. Then the Jiva of the child replies, "Kasmin janmani ami mahyam pitaro mataro abhavat karmabhir brahmyamanasya devatiryang nruyonishu." I have been going from birth to birth in the transmigratory cycle among different species. In which birth of mine have these been my father and mother? Again he is saying, in the succession of births, anyone might have been anyone's kinsman, enemy, neighbor, stranger, etc. Sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mitaha. He means to say, these relations change in every birth. The Jiva says again, just as objects of sale like gold and ornaments made of it pass from one hand to another in the course of transaction, so does the Jiva pass from one womb to another of individuals belonging to different species. As the Jiva passes from one womb to another, its relations also keep changing. Again it says, even in the embodied state, the Jiva is eternal spirit. He has a continuous existence even after death, but has no continuous identification with its previous embodiment or associates of its birth. He clarifies again, as long a Jiva is in a particular state of existence due to his karma, only so long will the relationship pertaining to it subsist. Hope it is clear. The Jiva means to say, though we are spirit eternal in our real nature, this embodied state is not permanent. So our relationships exist only in this particular state of existence, in this particular body. The Jiva says, in his real nature, the Jiva is part of the Ishvara, eternal, undecaying, subtle, and basis of all. In his real nature, this Atman has none specially dear or inimical to him. None is one's own, none another's. He is only the witness. He doesn't share enjoyment or suffering. Saying so, the Jiva of the dead child departed, and all their relatives were astounded. They became free from grief as their bond of attachment was cut asunder by the words of the Jiva. They cremated the baby with prescribed rites. Here Bhagavata says they succeeded in abandoning the attachment which is the prime cause of sorrow, infatuation, fear and worry. So the main cause of our sorrow, fear and worry is this attachment. Bhagavata says, as far as Chitraketu is concerned, his spiritual consciousness was aroused by the words of the sages, and just as an elephant emerges from the mud and mire of a lake, he emerged from the dark well of household life. So it's possible to cut asunder this attachment, discriminating in this way. Once our loved one leaves the body, he or she is no more attached with this body. We too have left many loved ones in our previous births. In our next birth, our associates may be completely different. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says elsewhere. Putra dharapta bandhunam sangama pantha sangama anudeham viyantyete swapno nidranugo yatha. That is, the association of children, wife, relatives and friends is just like the brief meeting of travelers. With each change of body, one is separated from all such associates, just as one loses the objects one possesses in a dream when the dream is over. We keep chit-chatting or make friendship with our fellow travelers in a train or on flight, but that relation ends as soon as we leave the train or the flight. So the Bhagavatam says, Kutumbeshu na sajjeta. You should not be attached to these relations. You can mark the clear difference when death takes place in an ordinary family or when it takes place in a devotee's family. In an ordinary family, it takes a very long time to recover from the shock and the ocean of sorrow that is created there. And they say even the departed ones find it very difficult to leave their body from the mourning relatives. In the case of a devotee, the devotee passes away happily, contemplating on God. The sorrow of the relatives also is automatically lightened. Date of death of ourselves or of our loved ones is not known to most of us, but we must always be prepared for bidding goodbye ourselves or to give send off to the loved ones with the chanting of God's name on our lips. Only spiritual growth can give that fearlessness.